So good morning friends, welcome to Raj Malhotra IAS. So guys, the PDF for today's session has been uploaded on our Telegram group. You can download the PDF from there. So good morning everyone. So here we are connected and live, and we are hoping that we will be able to provide uninterrupted session to you. Sufficient number of people have already joined us. Ajay, Samjukta, good morning. Aduri, good morning. Gagandeep, Kaveri, good morning. So we'll just begin this particular session. Kirti, good morning. So before moving ahead, let me tell you a few things. So here at our institute, new courses for optional subjects will be starting on 18th of July. So I will be picking up public administration. So students, those who are interested in public administration, they can definitely contact with our institute. So public administration optional we will be starting on 18th of July. Before that, the demo will be provided to you. There will be 2 demo classes. They will be there. And on 18th of July, we will be starting with our public administration course. That's your optional subject. Chaliye. So let's start the session without wasting much time. Sufficient number of people have already joined us. We can easily start the session right now. So Kirti, good morning. Uma, good morning. Raj sir is not taking PSIR. Chaliye. So let's see what exactly is there for us in today's newspaper. Now we have this statement by Dalai Lama. So he's saying that first we have to start giving, and then don't expect nothing, don't expect anything, expect absolutely nothing. You have to start giving first and expect absolutely nothing. This is what Dalai Lama said. This message was that we should be selfless while we are serving. If you are expecting anything in return, then that is not going to be the philanthropic act by you. That will be a deal, that will be a trade-off. So we don't want that trade-off. If you want to help others, you should start just by helping them. Don't expect anything in return. That's the message that Dalai Lama has given to us. Okay, so this is what is expected from a bureaucrat. Now after getting into bureaucracy, it is your duty to serve people. It is your duty to serve people, whatever you are getting. Okay, whatever you are getting, whatever remuneration you are getting, it's your duty. That's the point. It's your duty. So you should not expect something in return. Yes, government will take care of you. They are going to provide you perks. Okay, there will be, you can say, assistance that will be provided by the government, but the reality is that you should be guided by the selfless act of public service. So public service is supreme. That's the point here. We should not expect anything in return. This is what is the goal for us. Okay, so Vivekananda has said that service to the humanity is the service to the God. That if you want to serve the God, serve the humanity and don't expect anything in return. Selfless living, if you are living in that way, you will be respected everywhere. You will be accepted to the society. That's the point here. And other point is this: instead of talking, instead of going for calculations, we should start giving first. That should be the major step that you have to take. Once you start giving, everything will come to you. Don't worry. If don't expect anything, but definitely you will get something in return. That's the message that Dalai Lama is giving. Okay, so we'll move to the next part now. Major news that we will be touching upon: no resolution to the Sri Lanka crisis. So yesterday there were horrific, you can say, footage that were released, and people were entering the presidential house, people were entering the prime ministerial house. Okay, so this is what is going on. They put the presidential house on fire, even the prime ministerial house on fire. That was going on yesterday. So it was really an alarming situation for us. Now, why this is also important for India? So you need to understand one thing: Sri Lanka is in India's neighborhood. Okay, so if something is happening over there, it will have some impact on us. And Sri Lanka is also important for the maritime security of India. If there is political instability, okay, suppose right now this is the example of political instability that is going on there. If this political instability continues, okay, then definitely things will be difficult for us and Indian security interests will be impacted. Because wherever there is political instability, other powers will try to use that political instability for their benefit. And we don't want this thing to happen. We don't want any political instability and China taking the leap or other criminal activities increases. Okay, so this is also one of the casualty that will be there. Though wherever there is political instability, criminalization, or you can say criminal activities, are at a higher, you can say, note there. They increases at a higher pace. This is how things are going to be. And Sri Lanka is just adjacent to India's coast, so we will be impacted by that. And we don't want that situation to occur. Okay, this is how things are. That's why Indian government is putting in too much, you can say, interest in what are the developments that are going on in Sri Lanka. And other important message that you have to understand: why this is happening, why people are burning the houses of the politician. This is happening because the trust deficit between people and the politicians, okay, it has increased. And why this has happened? Because wherever your political class is corrupt, okay, so where you have corrupt political class, definitely the major casualty will be that people will lose the trust on that political class, and the chances of these type of development also increases, that the violence that is going on right now in Sri Lanka. So this is how things are. And other important aspect that we have to understand, that governments, they have to spend money judiciously. Okay, they have to spend money judiciously. Now, Mr. Rajapaksa, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, the president, he has the image of strong man. Okay, he has the image of strong man. He has the military background. But the point is this: his priorities were different. And when the priorities were different and they are not aligning with the demands that people are putting up, these type of things can occur. Okay, so chances that these type of things can occur also increases. This is how things are. So the people who are in power, they have this responsibility to provide service to the people, to help people, to look into the aspirations of the people, not impose what you want from the people. That's the point here. Now he banned the use of chemical fertilizer. Okay, so as the chemical fertilizer it was banned, there was a major food security issue. Now food security issue became a major issue. As food security became a major issue, they had to import, you can say, food here. Their import budget increased after that. So fuel prices are also increasing because of Ukraine Russia war. Their import budget was also increasing, and parallel to that, the value of Sri Lankan rupee also depreciated. So all these things were happening simultaneously, and that's why it developed into a major crisis. This is what is going on. So the governments that are there, they have to act judiciously. They have to act in a manner that whatever steps they are taking right now, they may not end up creating problem for the future generations. This is how things are to be done here. Okay, so we'll move to the next news here. Now, here we have this particular, okay, so startup brace for long and the bitter winter. This is how things are going to be. And specifically in the edge tech, things are going to be like that. Okay, so it won't be that easy. And in the coming time, things will change. So this is how things are there. Okay, so other than that, there is nothing much. Directly we'll move to the editorial section. We will try to find out what exactly is there in editorial. So today one editorial is regarding decoding the rebellion in the Shiv Sena. Okay, see, you need to understand one thing. Opportunist politics is part of Indian electoral system. Why do I say that? Earlier, Shiv Sena, they fought election with BJP as the ally. Okay, so this election was fought. ठीक है जी, they took part in that election. After the result of election, Shiv Sena joined hand with Congress and NCP and formed the government. Okay. Later on, faction of Shiv Sena get separated and again joined the hands with BJP. So this is how things are. This shows that this is the politics of, you can say, opportunism. That just to remain in power, things are to be exercised in this way. But the point is this: if this continues, if this type of practices continues in Indian system, in Indian political system, how can we sustain? How can we sustain? That's the major point here. If this continues, how can we sustain? People are going to lose trust on the system that is prevailing. And we don't want this situation to be there. So your politicians, they should act in a responsible manner. Otherwise, one day, people will start distrusting them and then it is going to be a major crisis for us. We don't want that situation to happen. Already we have seen multiple times where, people losing trust, okay, it is not developing into, you can say, positive things. So people are protesting on the streets for reservation and all those things are going on in this country. And there will be an example where you have leaderless mob, and leaderless mob is going to be very dangerous. Okay, so we don't want that situation. So we'll move to the next. What ails the current approach to Ayurveda? Okay, so this editorial is looking into the problems that are there. See why Ayurveda is struggling to come to the forefront. Okay, so you need to understand there are few things, few improvements that are to be carried out. Okay, so we have to carry out few improvements. First of all, you have to delink the outdated theories and the superstitions that are present. So medical science has evolved, medical science has modernized, but Ayurveda is still struggling with those old theories. Definitely this is part of the traditional wisdom that India has. They are going to be very useful to us in curing multiple disease. They have their own benefits. But the point is this: you have to use those particular points and you have to put in the modern rationale. Okay, the modern principles that are there. So rationality have to be incorporated. You cannot keep them separately and use the old systems that are there without using your own brain. We cannot adapt that type of system here. So this is how things are. The adaptation of the traditional knowledge system, it is going to have its own challenges. Okay, things are not going to be easy, and like there are in ancient treatises that are existing. Okay, so many of the things, they may not be relevant in the present society, and completely 100% Ayurveda, the knowledge and the wisdom, might not be useful at present because society have changed, things have changed, our requirement have changed, our way of life have changed. This is how things are. Along with that, you have to shift away from the socio-religious superstitions that are there. So this is how, like, we cannot mix superstition with the medical science, and you have to find the practical use and the practical, you can say, utility of that theory. So Ayurveda has a lot of theories, but the point is this: whether it can be proved practically. This is what we have to focus upon. So if you are going to show to the world that okay, the theory of Ayurveda, it is valid and it can be proven, then definitely it's a good thing. It's a good thing and it is going to be popularized after that. If we are able to do that, definitely Ayurveda will get some popularity. This is how things are. But for that first you have to remove all the superstition and try to incorporate the modern methods to prove those wisdom that Ayurveda provide. Okay. And the problem is this: we are still not focusing on this. Okay, we are still not focusing on this. We are still not looking forward to find the practical proof that are there associated with the theories of Ayurveda. Ayurveda has lot of theories, but it is not, you can say, we may not be able to prove it. So the point is that use the modern methods to prove whatever Ayurveda stands for. That's the point. Okay. So other important point that we have to look into is this: we have this thing very deeply incorporated in our mind that Ayurveda came from yogic or the respected figures, and they retain timeless relevance. Means that whatever those yogis, those sages, they have said, it is going to exist forever. The point is this: we should not think in that way. Okay, we have to be prudent, we have to be practical. This is the modern age. You have to use only those theories, those things that are useful to you in the present time, not the all things in totality. This is the point that is being raised here. So whatever misinterpretations that are there, you have to remove those misinterpretations. Okay, because those misinterpretations, definitely if it is wrongly done, it can damage someone's health. It can cause lot of damage, and we don't want that situation. We don't want that situation. This is what we have here. So we have to improve on these particular things. We'll move to the next part. The worth of liberty in the eyes of law. So this is regarding the arrest of a journalist Zubair. The point is this: law enforcement agencies that are there in this country, we have seen it multiple times, they don't follow rules and regulations. Okay, and somehow we also know that how these law enforcement agencies, they are used by the political class, okay, to curb dissent. If you are criticizing someone, the political class will use the police and the other departments to put pressure on that particular individual. We have seen it multiple times. So this is how this thing is also related to this, the arrest of Zubair. Whether police had used the proper protocol or methods or not, this is what this editorial is about. Okay. So law enforcement agencies, definitely they have upper hand because they are the enforcers. Okay, they have upper hand and they are doing whatever they are doing. This is how things are, and law is quite often misused by these agencies for their own, you can say, way of working, for their own benefit. People, they are using these laws. This is how things are. So here, when it comes to arresting an individual, police has the power to arrest if there is reasonable suspicion that the accused had committed the alleged crime. This is what Code of Criminal Procedure has a provision with, that police has the power to arrest. That's the point. Other important point is this: police also have the power to carry out search and, you can say, seizure operation, and this means that they may not require any legal, you can say, sanctions to carry out arrest or to carry out search operation in some cases. Okay, in some cases it is not necessary, not in all cases, not in all cases, because police, they have to take warrant and all. Her case mean, but it is not there in every case. In some of the cases police can go and carry out the search operation. This is how things are done. Now the point is this: in that search operation, definitely it's up to the policeman how to carry out that search operation, as no rules are existing. There are no distinct statutory rules that govern the search and the seizure of digital devices. That okay, how, what will be the protocol that will be used to search a premise, okay, or whether what are the things that can be confiscated. There is no legal arrangement, there is no clarity. So whatever things they want to do, they can do it on their own discretion. And this is how, in this way, it is bit problematic. It is bit problematic. Okay, so that's why these things are existing. Now other thing is that when it comes to granting of bail, so it is up to the discretion of the judge. Now it's up to the discretion of the judge, and judge may consider it and may not consider it. The point is this: judge even is not considering this point, that personal liberty is protected. If judge is considering it, definitely the bail will be granted. If judge is not considering it, the person will be behind the bars. But look at the case of, you can say, if the bail is not granted, the harassment that it will lead to, the harassment will be really, very difficult here. Okay, this is how things are. So there are a lot of things that we have to improve upon. Even the judicial system have to be improved. Okay, that judicial discretion that is there, it has to be minimized. It has to be minimized. You have to come out with a proper framework, that cases in which the bail can be granted and the cases in which the bail can't be granted. So this is how things are. This is how things are. So that's what we have to look upon. And we need to devise a system. This is what they are saying. We need to devise a system. Okay? And we have to take care of that. We have to take care of that. That's the point. So we'll move to the next point here. We'll move to the next, you can say, news item. Now before that, we have this particular part, the road to productivity. Okay, so investing in roads reduces the time travel. Now you need to understand one thing. The core to this particular part is city planning. City planning. Okay, so this is how you can say it is in the best interest of the people that their, you can say, job location are nearer to their, you can say, residence. This is how things should be. Okay, so for that, the plan should be in that way that you minimize the travel time for the individuals. It should not be like that residential area is located say 18 kilometers and people have to travel every day covering that distance. It should not be like that. Okay, so it is the planning should be carried out in such a way that it should be nearer to the place of work. That's the point here. Okay, so I can feel this problem because I am traveling 18 kilometers every day, so it's a quite longer distance. Okay, so in traffic it is going to take too much time, but anyhow we have to do it. So we'll move to the next part here. So this is the explainer that is there, Twitter's petition on section 69A of IT Act. Now you need to understand one thing, this section 69A of IT Act, it basically empowers the government, okay, to restrict access to any content in the interest of sovereignty and integrity of the country. This provision is existing. Okay, it empowers the government to restrict access to any content, sovereignty and integrity of the country, for the security of the state, for friendly relations with the foreign state, or for the public order. Okay, so this power has been given to the government. Now the point is this: have we defined what is national security, what is public order anywhere? No. So if we are not defining national security and public order anywhere, it means that indirectly we are talking about giving discretion to the, you can say, departments that are there. And if you are giving discretion to them, somehow there are chances that those particular provisions will be misused. It could be misused. This is how things are. Okay, this is how things are. So here Twitter moved to Karnataka High Court seeking to set aside this particular blocking orders by the central government. Now central government has given the orders to block some of the tweets, some of the content. So here they have moved to the Karnataka High Court and they are demanding that okay, clarification should be given to us that on what basis you are asking us to remove these tweets. This is what is there. And the point is this, what constitutes the free expression then? Okay. So at the end of the day, we have fundamental right, you have freedom of speech and expression, and government, they are asking from the government that on what basis this freedom of expression should be curtailed, and define what is public order. So these two things are contested in this particular thing. It's a good thing because court will come out with some definition. Right now there are a lot of discretionary powers that are given to the officials because things are not defined. They use the system, they use the law, they interpret the law for their own benefit the way they want. And we want some clarification, we want some, you can say, system to be established here. And in this, if the social media intermediaries, they fail to comply with the regulations that the government is coming up with, there are definitely monetary penalizations will be there and imprisonment can also be there. So this is how things are there that is existing. Okay. And government, they can definitely appoint a designated officer to look into the whole thing, to assess what is the, you can say, problem with the content, and this is how things are. Means still bureaucracy has lot of power. Okay. So in that scenario, if you are giving too much power to an individual to decide whether the tweet should be kept or not, it is somehow against the principle of freedom of speech and expression. That's the point here. Okay. That's the point here. Other thing is that Supreme Court in the earlier judgment of Superintendent and the Central Prison Fatehgarh versus Ram Manohar Lohia had held that restrictions made in public interest must possess reasonable connection to the objective being achieved. That at the end of the day, if you are curtailing the freedom of speech and expression, if you are removing the tweet, अगर आप tweet remove करते हो, how is it helping you in achieving your goal? How is it protecting the public order? Some clarification should be given, some justification should be given, and this is what the Twitter is asking for. That justify on what basis you are asking us to remove the tweet. That's the point here. So other than that, we have the ongoing dialogue between Pakistan and TTP. TTP means Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. Okay. So you need to understand one thing. Whenever we talk about Taliban, one is Afghan Taliban. Okay. Another is Pakistan Taliban. That is Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. Now, Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, they want Sharia to be imposed in Pakistan, okay, and they want that whatever system that is existing in Pakistan for governance, they should be guided by the Sharia law. That's the point they are asking for. They should be guided by the Sharia law. So this is the important concept. This is the important concept that you have to understand. They should be guided by the Sharia law. Now, Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, they carry out some violence activities in Pakistan because they want changes to be brought in the Pakistani establishment. Okay, they are active in this particular part. So specifically in this particular part, they are quite active and they want their own definition of, you can say, rule in Pakistan. So this struggle is going on, but right now this news is emerging that they want some sort of ceasefire, some sort of peace arrangement within the Pakistani system, and they are carrying out negotiations with the Pakistani army. Okay, so this is how things are, this is how developments are that are there. So these TTP people, they carry out blast and other terrorist act in Pakistan, and multiple times we have seen that. That's the scenario right now. So again, this the government in Sri Lanka is in mess right now. People are not trusting the government anymore, and they are, you can say, on street. Okay, so this could be the outcome if the people they stop their trust on the government. That's the point here. Other point is this: government need to prioritize its spending. Now, one of the problem with Sri Lanka is this: Sri Lanka has a really strong, in the sense, disproportionate army, means they have an army of 1 lakh, okay, for say 2.2 crore people. Now India has this army of 13 lakh for, you can say, 138 crore people. Okay, so if you compare it as per the, you can say, size of the population, it is quite disproportionate. And this is how it has been observed that Sri Lankan government's defense spending is way more than their spending on social sector. And here people are facing the problem with that. Okay. So it's up to the government that how do you define, how do you spend the money. That's the point which is there. So 20 bed army medical facility at Galwan. So this is what we are preparing for right now. So in future as well, we should have the medical facility to be placed in that area, because we don't know, anything can happen at any time. Okay, this is how things are. Army needs new utility helicopters. So like many other, you can say, equipments, helicopters are also getting obsolete. Okay, so we are using Chetak and Cheetah right now for the missions, but we have to shift to the other, you can say, new latest helicopters. Okay, this is how things are now. Other than that, there is nothing much. Okay, so sown area of paddy rises marginally. Now this was specifically done. Basically, the government want the farmers to grow paddy, because internationally right now they are getting good remuneration. Okay, so as we know that commodity prices have increased significantly, specifically in the wheat and the rice, the prices are increasing. Okay, so in the future projection as well, the prices are going to be further increased, and this is the reason why central government did ask the state government to ask the farmers to increase the, you can say, cultivation area, because it was said that cultivation area may be reduced, but we don't want this thing to happen. We don't want this thing to happen, and this is the reason why the state governments, they were asked to go and ask farmers to grow that. Okay, that's the point here. Now renewable energy to reduce the revenues. Okay, this is the different point of view that is existing right now. Your governments, they are collecting lot of taxes on, say, petrol or diesel. All that will be gone. That's the, you can say, angle that is to be explored. Okay, that if we shift to renewable energy, then revenue might reduce. So in Indian context, it is said that the government may government may miss nearly 178 billion dollars as means revenue. In China, it is going to be 140 billion dollars. This much gap is going to exist. Okay, if we completely shift to the renewables, this is how things are going to be. Well, definitely governments are smart enough. They will tax other entities. Okay, so even the renewables can be taxed in future. This is how things are. They can be taxed. Renewables can be taxed in future. So other than that, there is nothing much. Okay, so China, Pakistan begin war games of Shanghai. Now, whenever you talk about war with Pakistan or war with China, we always have this thing in our mind. India has a threat of two front wars. Okay, that war will be fought at multiple fronts. It will not be a single front war. So this is what is a major challenge to us. Okay, and this is what we have to look into. Other than that, there is nothing much. Okay, so today the economy page is also not carrying anything. So this is what we have in today's session. That's it for the day then. Thank you very much.